Are you looking for love? Are you looking for me? Are you looking for something to set your soul free? So if you're looking for love, turn on the phone or TV, because here I am. Are you ready for love? On lockdown.
Hey, all you cool gods and goddesses, it's that time of the week. Open your mind and fill your heart with love. Here's the angel that does it all for you, our mother's firstborn son, Cupid!
Thank you for tuning in to the Lockdown Living Room Comedy Show. I am Cupid, and welcome to Love on Lockdown, the show where each week I teach you how to flex your love muscle. Are you flexing now? Enough of that. Let's get in some headlines and jump right in. All right, the Corona Caliphate continues, and so far in the United States, nursing homes account for 11% of cases and a whopping 43% of deaths. As Forbes puts it, that means almost half of all deaths are from just 0.6% of the population. Also, more and more research suggests that cases might be 10 times higher than 10 times higher than what's being reported, meaning it's even less lethal than what we've been led to believe. Sweden continues to prove that social distancing is unnecessary. They have no restrictions in place. They have 10 million people in their population and only 5,700 deaths. Again, with no restrictions in place. And to say that wouldn't work in a country this size is merely speculation. So Oda May, would you please tell them how we feel about speculation? Thank you. This, besides, the CDC themselves said the virus has probably been here since at least the winter. We didn't need social distancing then, so why now? All right, so now bear with me for a minute, all right? The word Islam means submit or surrender, okay? Remember back in 9/11, we were attacked by Islam. And did you know that back in World War I that Islam declared jihad? That's right. World War I was a holy war. That's what it was. In World War II, Hitler worked right alongside the Muslims. He had imams on his airwaves nightly in Berlin declaring jihad. And then again, on 9/11, jihad was declared. Because Islam plays both sides. That's what they do. Back in World War I, the British Army was known as the British Indian Army because the British set up shop in India long before the war to make money on tea. So they recruited the Muslims and they became 40% of their army became Muslims. World War I was a holy war, Muslims fighting Muslims. Then, in World War II, even Churchill wrote about how important the Muslims were in their role of fighting the war. So you have Hitler fighting with the Muslims, and then you have the Allies fighting with the Muslims, just like today. We are fighting right alongside them, except for they're being called the moderate rebels. So you have ISIS, who is going to show up any day again now, you just wait for that, and versus the moderate rebels. Muslims fighting Muslims. Okay, so the word Islam, remember, it means submit or surrender, which is another way of saying kneel. You see that? That's the leader of Canada, and that's our government too. And not only that, that's our Speaker of the House. And so if something happens to the president and then the vice president, she's running the country, and that's spooky. I don't care who you are. All right, and so you see how this guy's even like, that's okay, I've heard about this before, because if I kneel, that means you're just going to chop my head off next. All right, and the Black Lives Matter, man. All right, what's not up for debate is that these people consider themselves part of the Islamic family. Here's Alicia Garza, one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, in a tweet last year, March of 2019, saying, my Islamic family, my Muslim family, right? And here's Patrice Cullors. Her real name is Patrice Khan Cullors. And that's funny because that's the same name of the first Muslim mayor of London. All right, and he's going to be announcing soon that masks are not going to be the new normal for just another year, but permanently. And why is that? Well, let me tell you. Do the Christians wear anything on their faces? No, they do not. They wear a collar because they're on a leash. Do the Jews wear anything on their faces? No, they do not. They wear a yarmulke that goes on the top of their head to disrupt their flow of energy in the magnetic field. Now, who does wear something on their faces? The Muslims! That's right, it's called a burqa. So way to go, little girl, you're half the way there. The Muslims worship the black cube in Mecca, hence the names Black Lives Matter. All right, now I'm just going to leave it at this. Back in 2001, we were attacked by Islam. Now in 2020, a presidential frontrunner is saying that we need to teach more Islam in school. Well said, Grandpa Sniff. Never before have I ever understood the power of the 19-year moon cycle until now. I mean, what a big difference just a little time can make. All right, and that brings us to
Dummy of the Day.
This prestigious award goes to Janet Yellen, ex-chair Satan of the Federal Reserve. And here she's doing what all chairs do, speaking in front of people supposedly giving a shit, called Congress, trying to tell them, well, I guess it should have worked. The banksters' inclusion with the government a-holes are the ones that are trying to blame the bankrupt economy on the coronavirus instead of their failed easy money policies called quantitative easing. The U.S. was in recession back in February, and here's the government's own GDP earnings report from Q1 of 2019. Look at it. You see how it says 3.1%? Now let's look at that same government GDP earnings report for this quarter of 2020 of this year. See how it says decreased at 5% or negative 5%? The lockdown started around March 20th-ish, okay? So what they're trying to sell you is that this country lost 8% of its earnings after being locked down for only 10 days. Nope, afraid not. That's the same thing that caused that drop is the same thing that's fueling the NASDAQ rally. More promised free debt and easy money. That's all it is. So, just like the New York Times, if the virus is so bad and we're all going to die from it, then we're not going to be around to buy these products. So just like the New York Times, people should be asking themselves, why the rally? So thanks a lot, Janet. Thanks for not putting a stop to any of this, and thanks for being the only Fed chairwoman to act like one of the boys. Congratulations, dum-dum. You're a dummy of the day. Even you deserve my love, Jan. Isn't it funny how Black Lives Matter never protest the white-run banks? Nope, they sure don't. Wonder why that is. Well, we just did the trash. Now let's do some laundry. Meet Warren Wilhelm Jr. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, his father lost his job due to his communist sympathies. Wilhelm Jr. then left college and went to Nicaragua in the 80s, where he greatly admired the Soviet-backed socialist Sandinista. He honeymooned in Cuba and has had 3 different names with 2 name changes so far. First to Warren de Blasio Wilhelm, got it, in 1983, and then to Bill de Blasio in 2001. You see, that's just an old commie trick. They just rename themselves or rebrand whatever they're trying to sell you so you don't catch on. Well, newsflash here, Warren, Bill, Dickhole, whatever your name is. We see right through your bullshitting around here. We eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. So why don't you take a bath, de Blasio, because we just aired out your dirty laundry, man. You stink.
Hell that shit, baby!
Here at Love on Lockdown, we appreciate the opportunity ASY TV gives us, so we would like to extend that same opportunity to you to be on the network as well. So this music of the month of August is brought to us by Tim, a very super talented independent musician, a husband, a father, and real nice guy that I work with from time to time. So please check this out. He put this together.
Hey, there's an easier way to play 90s arcade. Get a PG 3D, True Color, arcade console with over 2,448 games, like the new Tekken 6, Smash Brothers, Moonwalker.
Alright, thanks Tim. All creation is music to my ears. Oh, you know what that sound means? It's time for the weather. And to keep us on top of the ever-changing wild weather due to all the comets, cosmic rays, weakening magnetic fields is our own very bitchy Betty. Bitchy Betty, what's going on in the forecast today?
Why, thank you, Q. Well, shit, y'all. Looks like a limp pecker out there. Just like my husband's member, always laying around exactly like he does. And I tell you what, I'm still looking at a full-ass trash can in there with Fly City to high heaven.
I get it, bitchy Betty. Your husband sucks. Whose doesn't? But what's the weather going to look like this week?
And embarrass him in front of him.
Simon says, please do the weather?
Take out that trash.
Well, she shows up. I'll give her that. All right, now it's time to rock some balls with sports. In racing news, NASCAR has implemented a new rule called turding. And it's not just a clever name. It actually allows cars to crap on each other. Let's take a watch and see how it happens. Oh, stinko de Mario. Let's see that in super slow-mo. Way to go, NASCAR. You give a whole new meaning to the word skid mark. All right, now let's show you something you saw before it happened. Yeah, let's see. And then you stop there. In tonight's You Saw First predictive programming segment, way back in March of 2001, Hollywood showed you the World Trade Center was going down, they just didn't tell you when. In the X-Files TV show's spin-off, titled The Lone Gunman, in the pilot episode which aired March of 2001, it featured a plot consisting of terrorist pilots that are going to hijack airplanes and crash them into the World Trade Center. Let's watch!
Lower Manhattan.
World Trade Center. We're going to crash the plane into the World Trade Center.
On an even wilder note, there was a government drill taking place on 9/11 called Operation Northern Vigilance. The drill was a NORAD operation which involved deploying fighter aircraft to locations in Alaska and northern Canada in order to simulate a hijacking situation, including terrorist pilots. It was immediately called off after NORAD received word from NEADS that the FAA had evidence of a hijacking. And here we are 20 years later saying it's all just a coincidence. Alright, now the only thing left besides the caption contest is the Creep of the Week. This week's Creep of the Week is, I can hardly stand it, Jeffrey Epstein, Super Creep of the Week, self-proclaimed genius and convicted sex offender. He even had a plan to impregnate a bunch of young girls with his super sperm to create a superior race. If you are rich and powerful, then that means he most likely had the dirt on you. Is he dead? Is he alive? Was he murdered? Nobody knows. Maybe one day, he and MH370 will pop back up on the radar. Susie in Illinois writes, I read a book about his life. I believe he's dead. He lived a life of monetary excessiveness and was too hung up on his own self-importance to ever be shut up and hidden away indefinitely. Plus, a whole lot of mother wanted him dead. Well, Susie, you got me convinced. Thanks for writing in. Now, all we have left and to play us out is Puppet the Psycho Dwarf for this week's caption contest. And here's how it works. We're going to put a picture up like this. And then what you do is you add a little funny one-liner to it, and then next week we'll announce the winner and the caption. And so since this is the first episode and we don't have a prior week's winner, we'll go ahead and help you out with an example. Take a look. Hey Blondie, ever made it with a garbage pail kid? So there you go. So email us your captions to me, Cupid, at loveonlockdown@yahoo.com. That's it for Love on Lockdown. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week when I tie the Age of Aquarius to the coronavirus. And remember, like it or not, I'm the symbol of love. All right, bye everybody. Boo!